Welcome in Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio, Lane Kiffin sort of spoke to the media on Monday. We'll talk about that a little bit. Interesting story that slipped by me at the end of last week about television numbers, the SEC moving to ABC, CBS now being a Big Ten network. Oklahoma has named a starting quarterback, their old starting quarterback, Jackson Arnold, back in for the Sooners. So all that and more coming up on today's show, a show brought to you every day. Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi. That includes the Oxford Exxon here in Oxford. It also includes the new location they got up and running in Amory yesterday. Been sending some photos of that. Done a great job with the rebuild after the tornado there in Monroe County. Lunch specials, $5.69, couple sides of bread, any size fountain drink, and Sweet Daddy's locations give you ribs, pulled pork, side items, and plenty more available. Again, any Blue Sky location or Sweet Daddy's location in the state of Mississippi. And coming to you again from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Why are we discussing Lane in the stream this morning? We have more Twitter or something?
I don't know.
Is that what's going on?
Unaware.
Yeah, I guess so. He's tweeting more inspirational verses and things. So my advice to you guys is just chill out. Just going about your day. Let it go. I do not know the reasons. I do not know what anything means or if it means anything at all.
What have we tweeted?
I mean, it was just, let's see. In the last 24 hours, you want love, be love. You want light, be light. And then some Wayne Dyer quote about trusting in unseen forces and fate, and I don't know, something like that. So
okay,
yeah. I mean, I can read through them, but I don't think you needed a verbatim.
I don't
thing there.
I try.
This is what happens when expectations aren't met. Everybody freaks out about everything. It's just human nature. It's fan base nature. Seen it before, so that's where you are.
I mean, I had a conversation with someone this morning about something similar on this.
Perception.
Well, I think different people are wired different ways. I think different people handle adversity differently than others. Trying to avoid words like better or worse, just differently. I mean, if you listen to his press conference yesterday, I was there. Then I listened to it again as I transcribed it. There's a lot of backward viewing right now. You know, it's funny. I do
more than ever,
and I get it. You know, I mean, that's a thing that people do. I do it. I'm guilty of it. Look back on things and allow those things to impact how I feel about present things. I get it. You know, I like to do guided runs. I don't know why. I ran yesterday for 55 minutes. I did a 45-minute run and then a 10-minute cool-down run, which proves that I could just go run for an hour. I don't need someone to talk to me the whole time. But I prefer to run with someone talking to me the whole time, even though I don't really listen.
Are they doing intervals? Are they telling you to slow down and speed up?
We're doing some intervals.
Are you?
And I do
like, what's
bit.
The guided? Like, what are we actually talking about?
It's one of the ones I do a lot is there's a 10-minute warm-up, an 8-minute interval, a 2-minute kind of a cool down where you just jog, and then a 6-minute interval, 2-minute cool down. Do it again, 8, 2, 6, 2, and then you're done.
Okay.
I like it for some reason.
Okay.
Well, one of the things he always talks about is, you know, keep your eyes forward because that's where your energy goes. It's true if you think about it. If you are always looking back, you're not going to go as fast. You're not going to go as well. You're not going to run as efficiently. It's just little tips that they give, and it's fine. I like the voice. It's Matt Wilpers, usually who I do. I like.
This is the cousin of the focus on the next 200 feet because that's how far your headlights go in the dark.
Sure.
Ole Miss baseball used to use that one a lot.
Sure.
Cousin to that one.
I'm not really paying a lot of attention, but a couple of those things sort of will sink in. It's music. It's fine. My point is, I don't know. It's like I think there's a difficult. It's difficult to move on from 2 really close games that they lost. He pointed out yesterday that a year ago they played a lot of close games and won them all. This year they've played a couple of close games and lost them both. I don't know that one's related to the other, but they're having a difficult time moving on. Look, the building, last week we were only there one day. Yesterday we got Lane and one player. We usually get 2 players.
Reese McIntyre.
And nothing against Reese, but I don't think anyone's ever going to accuse him of being a motivational speaker. You know what I mean? I mean, he's that's not his deal. But they're kind of down, I mean, and look, there's reality that I'm sure has sunk in by now, which is the goal was the playoffs, and they're not making the playoffs unless they win out, and winning out includes, among other things, beating Georgia. It's never a great recipe when you go, all right, well, part of the deal here is we must beat Georgia. Georgia's really good. And if Georgia shows up healthy, motivated, it's going to be really difficult for you or anyone else to beat them, as witnessed by the fact that no one's done it other than Alabama in the last 4 years. I mean, that's a reality. Kentucky's come close. Other teams have come close. But nobody's done it. Nobody's beaten Georgia in the last 4+ years other than Alabama. So I think there's a reality that's washed over that building probably that this is going to be really hard. And that had they beaten Kentucky and or beaten LSU, the Georgia game wouldn't be this daunting, massive mountain in front of you that, hey, to get to the other side, to get to this wonderful beach over here, you've got to get over this mountain.
BWL took the words out of my head in the stream. They need to play a football game. That was what was going through my head the entire time of Lane talking yesterday was they need to get on the freaking football field.
They do. They need to get on the field and experience.
The bye week was great probably for injuries, assuming they get people back. He's talked about getting the offensive line healthier. There's several ways you could read the Jaden Williams question. I think he used the literal question as an out to not really answer it because the questioner, and I don't know who it is, so I'm not making fun of anybody. I don't know who asked the question.
It was Tyler Comas.
Do you expect Jaden Williams back at some point in this regular season? And Lane obviously does because the question is whether or not he's playing this week. And Lane said, yes, I expect him back this regular season, meaning we got nothing as far as whether he is back or not back this weekend.
Yeah.
There was a lot of thought that was going to happen prior to in the bye week. And, I
expect he will start this week.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think you'll see Jeremy James this week. I think they're going to shake it up front because they need to, because they haven't been very good up front.
But the point is, as good as it was physically for them, it was probably mentally terrible. Because when that game's over like that, you got to get back on the field. You got to play. That's why baseball is so much easier in some ways because it's next day. There's no time to linger on anything. And with football, with a bye week, you had 14 days of sitting there, or you will have 14 days of sitting there going, we're below expectations. You have to win out. You start thinking about everything instead of just playing a game and get a little momentum and get back in it a little bit and get going because it's human nature. And no, you're right. I mean, that was the 2 things that were evident yesterday during that press conference was that Lane looked backwards more than he has in any press conference I can remember because that's something he typically fights against and talks about you can't do and all that stuff. And he was still talking about that Nussmeier play yesterday. He mentioned it 2 or 3 times, not even once.
No, he talks about it a lot.
He just kept going back to that Nussmeier play yesterday, kept going back to the 4th downs that have happened. And it wasn't – you've had coaches do it in excuse-making mode, and he wasn't doing it in excuse-making mode. He was doing it in I'm haunted mode. Yes. There's a difference.
Yes. I think I used that word and what he said, what he meant.
It's bothering him. He can't let it go.
Like at night, he's picturing that play.
Yes.
You got to let it go. It's a game.
It's driving him crazy.
It's a football game, And, I mean, you can go, hey, it was a miraculous play or whatever. Well, he made it, He did it. He's good. He's a really good quarterback, and he made a really good play, and he threw the ball to a tight end whose dad was a Hall of Fame NFL player. It didn't happen against Old Dominion. And it's a weird thing too. And this isn't a criticism, but it's man, when you start changing your messaging, I get my antenna goes up. Before the LSU game, having not won there since 2008 and it being at night and all that stuff wasn't a big deal. And now all of a sudden we're talking about it all the time.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. His last two press conferences, there's been a bit of a PR spin of, it's just historically so hard to play there.
Yeah.
Ole Miss historically hasn't done well there.
Yeah.
Well, Ole Miss hasn't done historically a lot of places, that's not the point.
But leading into that game,
I know.
He was asked about all that, and he's like, it's not a big deal if fans don't play.
Yeah.
Okay. And that doesn't, the last time, some of our guys weren't even born, when basically referring to the Eli Manning game. Okay. But now you switch the messaging, and it's like, okay, so next week when we're like, hey, you guys hadn't won there since 2008. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Well, then it can't retroactively matter if it didn't matter going in. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Haven't won in Fayetteville since 08.
They won.
They've won in Little Rock several times.
They won in Little Rock in 12. But
didn't Matt beat them somewhere over there too?
No.
He lost every game for them?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. For some reason, I thought he won in the rain, but maybe they lost that game. Okay. Sorry, never mind. All right.
It doesn't matter. The truth is, it doesn't matter. They didn't lose in Tiger Stadium because they've lost in Tiger Stadium every year since 2008. That had nothing to do with it. They lost in Tiger Stadium because they couldn't protect the quarterback. They lost in Tiger Stadium because at the end of the game, they couldn't make a play. They had multiple possessions where they couldn't extend the lead. That's why they lost. It had nothing to do with magic or voodoo or any of that stuff. It was just line play. They got beat in some key spots on the line in key moments. That's why they lost the game. And at the end of the day, LSU's quarterback made plays, big throws that had nothing to do with the drunk, loud student section. Nope. Made a big-time throw. A.J. McCarron talked about the throw. From a quarterback standpoint, the anticipation that it took, the trust that it took. That touchdown to tie the game on the 4th and 5 was a big-time throw.
I mean, the stream's making a good point. The throw that should be haunting is Vandergriff because he couldn't do that damn throw again in 100 passes.
Right, but he did it on that one.
Mm-hmm. But if you're going to get haunted by one, that's the one.
Yeah.
It's an inferior quarterback making a throw.
Oh, I've said it a million times. I mean, the game that should haunt them is not LSU. It's Kentucky. That's the game.
Oh, look, Lane has fallen victim.
Because at the end of the day, the LSU stats were pretty even.
Sure.
They were pretty even. I mean, literally, they both had 26 first downs. People go, well, Ole Miss dominated the first quarter and a half. Okay, well, LSU kind of dominated the last quarter.
But you had 5 red zones where you scored 13 points.
You did, but the stats are sort of what the stats are.
If you kick 5 field goals, that's 15 points.
Sure, but you didn't.
Well, yeah, but that's why they're frustrated.
Right, but you didn't. I mean, you on 4th and 1 at the 4, you went for it, and you didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, you made a decision. The decisions count. Well, if we just taken a field goal there, sure. If you just taken a knee at the end of the first half and gone in with a 7-point lead, sure, but you didn't. You made a decision. You made a conscious, willing decision to, hey, we're going to try to do something here, and it led to a fumble. That was a decision that was made. It had nothing to do with fans or any of that stuff. The game that should haunt you is the game that you statistically dominated.
Yeah, Kentucky's 2-13 in the last 15 SEC games.
Yes. That's the game that should haunt you. You dominated that game statistically. It was flukier than LSU, which on paper really wasn't very fluky.
What I'm saying is Lane has fallen victim. Y'all have the same letters in your name.
Mm-hmm.
Anagram of each other, or not an anagram, but
we have a lot in common, the two of us.
You do. You want to go through all the different things?
We probably do have actually a decent amount in common.
He has fallen victim to what was just something that was going to be very mentally difficult to get over. We talked about all week of the LSU game was you were going to come out of LSU, you're going to go into a bye week, and you had no chance of being an emotional 5. You were a 0 or a 10, and that was it because you were stewing on a loss, and the way it happened with Lane thinking they should have won the game made it even worse. And you got to wait 2 weeks and do all that, and you got this second loss. You got to hold this team together. That's a lot of transfers, all the stuff.
Sure.
Versus he had in his mind, hey, we're going to go to LSU. We're going to win. I think he was incredibly confident. I think he thought they were going to go roll.
He did.
And in his mind, hey, we're going to have a happy 2 weeks. I'm about to, almost you start looking ahead. You start tasting the meal a little bit.
Yeah.
And coming off that mentally, woo, that's tough.
Yeah.
And whether he's speaking to us in some way or he's doing whatever, he didn't want to be there yesterday. He was kind of short. He was looking backwards. It did not feel like any other press conference this season, including after Kentucky when he still was kind of keeping them in and okay. He didn't do that yesterday. It was odd.
No, I mean, look at it. There's been stuff that you've seen on social media. There's players that are unhappy. You have a veteran team, a bunch of guys that are trying to, in the midst of playing a season, let's be real, they've got an eye on what's next. They're trying to improve their draft stock. They're trying to maximize their value. Some guys are probably frustrated. I'm trying to be careful here. You've got, I think there were some bye week shakeups. He hinted at that. We've certainly heard that through some sourcing. There were some demotions, and there was some, when you do that with a veteran team, there are going to be hurt feelings. Not everybody shows up every day going, hey, what can I do to help my team win? If you've ever been on a team, you know that. Some players, and this isn't negative, but some players are more selfish than others. And some players, they had some defections in the open date. I mean, no locker room is nothing but kumbaya. That doesn't exist.
Ole Miss, Texas, Georgia, Army, period.
Period. Doesn't exist.
Somebody at Army's mad today.
Sure, but there are different stages of that. And there's different levels of that. And, look, when you put a team together with a bunch of people from an Ole Miss's roster, when you look at who plays, forget the roster. Take a look at the playing charts. When you look at who plays, it's almost all transfers. And you put all those people together, and I think it's fair to ask, hey, do you have enough foundation? And we'll see. It's not over yet. But if they're going to make the playoff, they probably have to win out, and winning out includes beating Georgia. And I think part of the path that was laid out before the season that was made the most sense was, hey, let Georgia be a free shot. Because if they were 9-0 going into Georgia, see what happens. L doesn't hurt you. But now you're playing elimination games, moving effective Saturday. You play Oklahoma, it's an elimination game. You have to beat them or else you're done. You have to go to Fayetteville and win or else you're done. Then you have to beat Georgia or else you're done. And I think this is where some of the dread kicks in for people, is that drop one and everybody goes, well, what happens the rest of the way? And it's a more than fair question. And it's a question that is being asked all over the country at programs that went into the season going, this is anything other than the playoffs is a disappointment.
4 high school signees played on offense more than 4 plays on Saturday against LSU.
It's just an incredible number.
They're out of 15. So 11 of the 15 players who played any considerable snaps at all against LSU on offense, 2 of those were, and one of those includes Henry Parrish, who came back. So 3 from a complete traditional sense.
Yeah, I don't think he should count as that.
Yeah, so 3.
Yeah.
2 were on the offensive line, Pettis and McIntyre.
And then Caden
Lee. That's it.
It's just
on offense.
It's an incredible stat.
That's all. Everybody else transfer. Now, it's a multi-years, but still.
3 out of 15.
That is correct, from a traditional sense.
So that's, doing my ULM math, 20%?
Yeah, on defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
Out of 16.
16. Yep, 16.
So 1/4. So somewhere between 20 and 25% of Ole Miss's contributors are guys that they signed out of high school.
On defense, Perkins, Washington,
Jamarius Brown.
and Xavion Harris.
Yeah.
Those all played at least 10 snaps. So 16 players played 10 snaps.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go down to period, 20 players played, and it still stays at that number because it's Kari Coleman, Chris Graves Jr., and Princely and Umana Malin.
It's like I got a message during the bye week from a disgruntled subscriber. He was very upset about rebelgrove.com's recruiting coverage. And I said, it's fair. I get it. It's probably not sufficient. I've done a poor job. I get it. That being said, and I said this bears out. They have, 17 commitments right now, something like that? 16, 17, 18. I don't know the number. I'm sure someone in the stream will fill me in. They're probably closing in on done as it is to high school kids. Because they're gonna try to replace. I've heard numbers. The number is massive with transfer portal people. And I said, I thought we did a pretty good job covering the portal.
Which is 85% of your roster, right?
Which is, and I said, two things can be true at once. Yes, I've done a poor job covering high school football recruiting because it's incredibly difficult to get the information. And I think it's disingenuous to the subscriber. And maybe people disagree or agree. Whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. But if I write about a bunch of high school sophomores and juniors, I think I'm just putting material out there for the sheer hell of it. I don't know how in this era of college football you can truly write a story about a high school sophomore and his recruiting as it pertains to one school specifically and it be all that genuine. I mean, unless you include 80 caveats. This player can't sign a binding letter of intent for another 26 months. If you write that sentence, okay, fair enough. But what I see is most people don't write that. In today's college football, what does it look like in 26 months, in 14 months? I mean, my God, who knows? So we don't do a lot of that, or I don't do a lot of that. It's my responsibility, and I do a poor job at it. I'll admit it. You just run out of time. But I said we do a really good job covering the portal, I thought, and that's where Ole Miss does the overwhelming majority of its roster building. And they're going to do it again in a world where Lane Kiffin is still at Ole Miss next season. And I anticipate that he likely will be. And so I think they'll do that again. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't know. The jury's out, I suppose. But that's how they do it. And I think it's a volatile way to build a roster.
Yeah.
Not wrong, because last year they went 11-2 with a roster that was kind of built that way. And they might end up going 11-2 again this year. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think it's kind of volatile, but it's different, right?
It's year to year.
It's completely different than, for example, the way that Brian Kelly is building a roster at LSU. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, better or worse, but it's completely different.
Yes. So. All right, we'll look at some TV numbers and some other stuff in a second. First, at the Citizens Bank, you're not just an account number, you're a valued member of the community. Now, if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, another reason to give them a try. Whit Wilson, and many of you know in the mortgage space, now at the Citizens Bank, ready to help you with your real estate goals. Stop by and visit 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford. Discuss your options with Whit or one of their experienced bankers who values your unique financial journey. And while you're in there, check out the School Spirit Debit Card program. They donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, Hernando, South Haven, that area, call Southern 662-429-4429. We're brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, everything in between, Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. Their experts are fully bonded and insured. They provide specialized equipment, exclusive cleaning solutions, a satisfaction guarantee, and clean up to 4 stories on buildings all over North Mississippi. So get in touch with Roby and Susan Allen. They're dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi look better. Call them at 662-510-7077 to get an estimate. Learn more at windowhero.com. Take advantage of Dead Soxy's fall sale these next couple of weeks. Get 25% off site-wide, including Ole Miss socks and more, with the code Rebel Grove. That's 25% all socks, the best socks you'll ever put on your feet, at deadsoxy.com with the promo code Rebel Grove. Had a report to you yesterday. I have another one to you today on Ole Miss football, brought to you by Southern Q Sauce Craft Barbecue Sauce and Rubs. Told you about the sauces, but the rubs are absolutely fantastic. You should try them. The smoky, the honey pecan, the clucker, the longhorn. If you're a professional pitmaster or if you're an occasional backyard chef, Southern Q Sauce has the sauces and rubs to have your friends and family coming back for more. Check it out for yourself at southernqsauce.com. Use the discount code Rebel Grove for 15% off your order. I've already recorded one interview, about to do another one later this morning for MPW Digital Extra. It's brought to you by Rustic Revivals. They're based out of Flowood, Mississippi. Rustic Revivals builds tables and other furniture by hand with locally sourced lumber. The husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom-ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, chairs. They have a limited selection of ready-for-pickup pieces available in their shop. They deliver within 250 miles of Flowood. And starting this week, the podcast listeners can take 20% off their purchase by using the code REBELS20. I'll have the QR code for you on the YouTube stream on Thursday, but you don't have to wait for Thursday. Go to rusticrevivalsms.com. Go to them on Facebook or on Instagram, Rustic Revivals. You can also order directly by calling 228-217-1243 or email rusticrevivals@gmail.com. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago with Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Again, rebelsretire.com.
You've had Wendy's Nugs dipped in sauce. If you had them covered in sauce, Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm. For real heat seekers, try spicy ghost pepper. Only at Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some napkins, prepare to nug like you've never nugged before for a whole new way to nug. It's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. So, real quick, we'll get to the TV stuff in a second. Ole Miss going back to Jackson Arnold this week. Oklahoma, I think I said Ole Miss. Going back to Jackson Arnold this week. He started their first 4 games of the season, and then after that did not play again until this past week against South Carolina, coming in relief. He played against Temple, Houston, Tulane, and Tennessee prior to getting benched there for the Sooners. He has not been very good. That's very notable. Obviously, he's only 79 for 138, 760 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. His team also is doing him 0 favors. Just in the games when he's been at quarterback, Oklahoma has dropped 14 passes, which is a ridiculously high number, especially for a guy who has not played every game this season. That's 15% of the throws are getting dropped. Not even incomplete, but dropped at this point for
They've had
Jackson
tremendous
Arnold.
injuries at receiver.
Yes,
They've lost. They're probably bringing one guy back this week, maybe a second, but they're beat up at that position. They're bad up front, flat bad up front.
Yeah, he has been sacked 17 times and pressured 52 times. Just him, not the team as a whole on the season. Arnold at this point. They dropped 6 balls against South Carolina. And then on deep passes, partly because of pressures, partly because of just wide receivers, him not being very good. On passes in the air of more than 20 yards, he's 3 for 20 this season. 134 yards, 1 drop. That's all that's happened in those deep balls. And he doesn't even look to the left side of the field on anything like 0 to 19 yards down the field. He's only thrown fewer than 10% of the passes to that side. So just nothing analytically very good at all with Arnold. He can run a little bit. He has 29 design runs or RPO runs this season, 14 scrambles, and can get loose a little bit. So he's got to be grabbed, got to be honed in a little more than some other quarterbacks Ole Miss has played this season. So anyway, just a little quick thing there on that. Had the ratings from this weekend, just the top couple games. The SEC doing quite well with their ABC doubleheader that they had. Alabama and Tennessee, and then obviously Georgia and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So this plays into the story that, like I said, I kind of overlooked and didn't see a couple days ago. Saturday's Alabama-Tennessee game averaged 10.7 million viewers, peaked at 14.7 in that 2:30 slot on ABC, while that evening's Georgia-Texas game averaged 12.9 million viewers to the network as an average, making the first time in 28 years two college football games brought in over 10 million fans on the same network. So that's before any type of current setup. The Georgia-Texas game peaked at 14.1 million viewers. So that's where those two were. And that means, I'm updating the chart myself in my head right here, the top 3 games this season from a viewership standpoint are those two, along with Georgia and Alabama a few weeks ago on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
So now ABC holds the top 3 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
After that, out of the top 12 broadcasts this season from a rating standpoint, an SEC team was featured in, 14 now. 13 of the 14 had an SEC team in them from the rating standpoint. You have, in order, those 3, Ohio State and Oregon did 9.6 on NBC. That was it was a mammoth game a week ago.
Sure.
A week ago. Texas and Michigan. Okay. SEC Big Ten.
Yeah.
USC LSU. SEC Big Ten.
Sunday night.
Notre Dame, Texas A&M, SEC, Notre Dame.
Yep.
Texas, Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia, Georgia, Kentucky, full 6-6 on ABC.
Yeah.
Miami and Florida early on.
Yeah.
USC and Michigan, the one that does not include an SEC team, that did 6.32 on CBS.
2 massive brands. Sure.
Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Alabama, South Carolina. On ABC. That is the top 14 games so far this season from a rating standpoint. CBS, who had the best deal in college sports, maybe sports period, for a really long time with that 2:30 and first pick and the whole deal, now, not having the SEC anymore, they have one of the top 14 college football games this season from a rating standpoint.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Not good.
It's a different.
Good.
It's a different animal.
Not good.
It's not anywhere near as religious in the Midwest as it is in the Southeast.
No. From a TV viewership standpoint, you have a few really big brands, and then it's just kind of okay in the Big Ten. The entire region is not locked into Indiana and Iowa when they play.
No.
They like their team, huge fan bases.
And they have other stuff. They have pro sports.
12 of the 14, because Oregon, Ohio State was up there too.
Right.
12 of the 14.
No.
But that was on ABC or something else. That NBC. That was not on CBS. Yeah, NBC. So NBC has 1. Fox has 1.
CBS didn't have any, correct?
USC Michigan.
Okay.
1, and then ABC has the others. So ABC has 12 of the 15. The top 15.
So 80%. Yeah, it's about right. They'll have more mammoth games coming.
And as a result, ESPN has the ACC contract, but the ACC is even seeing fewer of their games make the normal ESPN channels because they're going with the SEC games they have instead.
By the way, next week's game will either be at 11 or 11:45, and will be on one of either ABC, ESPN, or SEC Network. They're waiting to see what happens with the games this weekend.
We got a window. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a year ago through last week. So I don't have this updated with this past Saturday's numbers. So prior to this past Saturday, the ACC had 14 games on ABC in 2023. Okay, a year ago. They only have 4 this year. The Big 12 had 5 a year ago. They only have 1 this year. The Big 10 had 1 a year ago. They have 2 this year because they're both SEC games. The Pac-12 had 4 last year. None, obviously. The SEC, 5 through last week. A year ago, 21 because of the new partnership. And then Notre Dame went from 3 to 1 over the course of that. You're seeing major changes from an overall viewership from a college football and a window standpoint, depending on the league. And this is all SEC related here at this point. I mean, you look at this. This is ABC's numbers in these windows a year ago to today.
Mm-hmm.
So a year ago at noon, that noon early game window, they did 393. They're doing 436 this year.
Yep.
At 2:30, ABC has gone from 489 to 503. That was very lucrative last year. Still lucrative with a slight uptick.
Mm-hmm.
ABC at night, 346 to 647.
Almost doubled.
Almost double on their night game. Doing so much more at night. And then CBS last year, having the SEC game, did 5.1. They're doing 3.6 this season on a fall.
It's going to change your ad rates.
And comparing those to each other, CBS going up head-to-head against ABC, 364 to 503, falling. NBC has gone from 387 to 402, a slight uptick, somewhat because they got that Texas A&M Notre Dame game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fox has fallen from 524 to 427 on their big noon kickoff.
Oh.
So they're having a hard time even getting the 11 o'clock game on ESPN. On Fox.
Well, in large part because, as unpopular as it is, the SEC has, by God, steered into we are going to put a attractive game at 11 o'clock right out of game day on ESPN.
Well, this is the ABC that's killing it, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the SEC is committed to putting those games in there. Mm-hmm. Actually, they're putting a game at 11, oftentimes 2 games at 11, and then on 11:45 on SEC Network. But they're steering straight into the ABC ESPN window at 11. They're not.
Well, and where Fox has got a mess is that the SEC is able to put that number 2, number 3 matchup in that spot and still win.
Yeah.
It's got a very slight win over Fox at 436 to 427, not using its best game. Yeah, and Fox is trying to use its best game.
It's where the addition of Texas and Oklahoma gives them a deeper inventory most weeks. And frankly, this year is watered down because you have 2 open dates. If you had a year where you only had 1 open date, you'd have more matchups.
In this story, TV execs saying that even in this new monster deal, the SEC has undervalued itself. That basically the weekly routine that they're able to give with the numbers that are so consistent, their actual market rate probably isn't affordable for a TV network.
Right.
That no matter what, you probably are not getting what you're actually worth given because you're not doing NFL, but you're doing this NFL light thing from a consistency standpoint that simply is it's hard to pay relative to anyone else.
Yeah.
Because the Big Ten kind of goes up and down. They've got these huge numbers, but then nobody really gives a shit at the bottom.
Right.
And in the SEC, there's very few games at Birmingham and
what did I'm curious because it was up against Georgia, Texas, but it was on an ESPN affiliate. What did Arkansas LSU get?
I'll find it in a second during the break. I do not have that in front of me. Yeah, well, and some of it is getting one of the differences too is in the Big Ten they are seeing that once a game gets out of hand, they turn it off. And SEC people are a little more likely to stay with something or just kind of have it on because one of CBS's games this season was Notre Dame Purdue, which was a 66-7 game.
Ooh.
So early on, you've got this, and then USC beat Wisconsin up. You've just had a couple times where,
Austin, thank you for the super chat. He says every week the SEC has 2 to 3 games that are somewhat attractive. The Big Ten may have 1 a week.
Well, that's the point, yeah. They're having to pick where they put it, and then they're getting mauled everywhere else.
Right.
Now, it's a little bit of a backloaded schedule. As mentioned, they've got an 11 o'clock or big noon kickoff game for Ohio State, Penn State on November 2nd. So we'll see what that's going to do. And then, obviously, Michigan, Ohio State, they can choose wherever they'd like to put that game. But, I mean, while it's a huge fan base from a regionality and a national standpoint, I don't know that people give a crap about Michigan right now.
No.
Because, again, there's not the same pull anywhere but the Southeast on that.
Well, like their big game this week is Illinois, Oregon. And it's just not I don't know that anybody believes in Illinois enough to truly dive into it.
No, you're not lit up by that game in any stretch of the imagination.
What's the big SEC game this week?
I don't know.
I have it right here. Let's see. So you got Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Missouri, Alabama, Texas, Vanderbilt. I wonder what kind of number that game's going to get. LSU, Texas A&M's the big game. And then you got the Auburn, Kentucky game.
Okay.
Which only the sickos will watch. And it's going up against that. Now, what's interesting is Saturday night, you're competing against World Series. And it's two monster markets with huge fan bases and superstars. MLB the next 2 weeks might flex its muscles. And if there is a Game 7, it's next Saturday night.
Now, that because you said the SEC schedule that day is awful.
Next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was done on purpose because of a potential World Series Game 7.
Probably not.
Just happened. I mean, what are they again? Grab your poster.
Next week, November 2nd, Alabama's off. Ole Miss is at Arkansas. Auburn is, I don't know where the games are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Auburn's at home against Vanderbilt. Florida, Georgia play in Jacksonville. Kentucky is at Tennessee. I mentioned Arkansas, Ole Miss. Mississippi State is at home against UMass. Missouri's off. Oklahoma plays host to Maine. South Carolina plays host to Tennessee. Texas A&M, I should say. I mentioned Kentucky, Tennessee already. Texas is off. Yeah. So, geez, what is the attractive game next
That's
week?
my point. I mean, they really just kind of threw it in.
Florida, Georgia, I guess, is the one but it's a day game. I don't know what's at night next week. I know Ole Miss, Arkansas is one of the morning windows, and the other one was I can't remember. I don't remember.
Okay. So yeah, I mean
the anticipation is that's an 11 game. I think they're making sure that Ole Miss doesn't lose to Oklahoma on the same day that Arkansas loses in Starkville and turns that into an absolute dud of a game that nobody outside of the two fan bases would even think about watching. Otherwise, I think it'll be 11 on ABC.
NBA starts tonight, right?
Yeah.
Celtics, Knicks.
Yep.
Do I have that right?
Yeah. Lakers, Timberwolves.
Okay.
Yep. Record show. He brought it up. I didn't say a thing.
I'm just curious.
I didn't say a word.
I mean, we got to watch something tonight. I was just curious what was on. Well,
yes, NBA is on.
I need some games tonight. There's probably a college football game tonight, too.
I think it's Louisiana Tech and somebody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who are the Bulldogs playing tonight?
I don't know.
Okay. So that's what you'll have on TV1, hometown team?
Well, I work tonight. I got tape with Pete.
About that OU offense or Ole Miss's offense? What are you focusing on tonight?
I don't know. It's Pete's show.
He hadn't told you?
I won't know until we get started. I'll say, what do we got? He'll tell me, and I'll steer him into it.
Okay.
I'll just drive the ship.
Yes, Knicks Celtics is at 6:30 on TNT, and T-Wolves Lakers is at 9 o'clock on TNT. That is your national doubleheader tonight.
Yeah.
The Athletic hyping those games, and in the first freaking paragraph mentions a comparison to King Griffey Sr. and Jr. That's where we are.
Yeah. I wish they wouldn't. I understand why they do.
It's making me hate the Lakers when I wanted to like Redick. Like, I want to follow this.
Yeah.
It's really interesting me with him.
Yeah.
But I can't. I get physically bothered.
I like the league so much that I can ignore it.
I'm having a visceral reaction.
It doesn't even on my list of top 50 things I'm interested in, it's not even there.
Is he going to play?
I have no idea and don't care.
But as an NBA junkie, is he going to play?
Probably not.
Okay.
much.
Will they find ways to get him a minute here or there for the hell of it, or does that screw up your locker room a little bit when you start just pandering minutes?
I think because it's one of the 5 greatest players of all time, you sort of get away with it, and most people generally like LeBron that play with him, and so I think it's going to be fine. But look, if he's taking someone's minutes, yeah, it's going to piss people off. But I don't think the Lakers are going to be very good. I don't think they're going to be they might be a play-in team. I don't think they'll be a play-off team. I think if you look at the West, there are teams that are clearly better than the Lakers. And so I just don't think it's going to be a big story. You've got the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Pelicans, I think, Sacramento, Phoenix. I mean, there's so many teams in the West. You've got the Spurs with Wembanyama that might make a leap. I just think there's so many teams in the West that are going to bury the Lakers that no one's going to give a shit by February. Pardon my language.
No, you're good. We didn't talk about it. Or we have not talked about it. It kind of made social media last week when it all was unearthed and Tom Brady's share of the Raiders was approved and all that stuff's going now that he's a part owner in the NFL. He's not still broadcasting in 2 years, right?
I wouldn't think.
He just didn't know this was even coming when he agreed, because otherwise it's all weird.
Probably didn't know it was this.
He was already learning as it is, and now the entire year, actually, frankly, we didn't realize this at the onset. His restrictions make it impossible to have any compelling content about the league you're covering, and explains the week 1 problem, which was he just never said anything about Deshaun Watson sucking, and we're like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
He literally can't. So how are you a color commentator in the NFL?
My guess is that he won't be as early as next season, that they'll move on from this. They have other people that are better.
Olsen's way better.
Way better.
At the beginning of the season, he'd already agreed to, and he is not allowed to access other teams' facilities or practices, nor can he attend broadcast production meetings, which usually include meetings with the coaches and players ahead of games. He's not allowed to publicly criticize officials or other teams, and could be fined or suspended if the league feels he breaks the policy. And then he also must abide by the league's gambling, anti-tampering, blah, blah, blah stuff.
Well, and the other thing is that we love watching Tom Brady. I don't know that we ever loved listening to Tom Brady. We watched him play. He was great. He was an elite player, an all-time player on a dynastic team.
Dude's going to do the Super Bowl with an inability to talk negatively about any player at all, no matter what happens on the field.
And I just think he's a competitor. I don't think he's a guy that wants to go sit up on the sidelines. I don't think that's who he is. So this broadcasting thing was something he got talked into. I don't think he really wanted to do it. I don't think his heart's completely in it. I think he wants to now own a team and win championships. I think he wants to compete. I mean, the guy broke up his family so that he could play another year.
He did.
He's the opposite of like Eli, who could have done the broadcasting gig and was like, nah, I want to just kind of stay home and be dad. Took a job with the Giants in a front office capacity where he could still do his show. I mean, I'm not making fun of either one. I'm just saying they're just different people. And this he's wired in a way that requires him to compete.
I mean, it's said in the stream that he's fine. Well, yeah, but you don't want fine for your number one commentator. That's not the point. It's fine.
No, Ginger says this. She's right. I mean, men loved watching him because the guy just won. Women love watching him because he's an incredibly good-looking guy on top of that. So everything about him is visual.
Yeah, not him standing there on the chalkboard.
Like men look at Tom Brady and go, I get it.
Yeah, sure.
I get it. I get why y'all are all crazy about him. I understand.
Yeah.
I'd kill to look like that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's a great player on top of everything else. But you never listen to a Tom Brady press conference and went, oh, shit, that was really deep. Wow. No, I mean, he was cliche. And so you put him in the broadcast booth, and he hasn't done, he's fine.
He's fine.
But he's not Charles Barkley funny, or he's not tremendously insightful, or I mean, he's fine.
And now literally can't be.
Yeah, but I don't know that he would be anyway.
No.
That's not who he is. He's not wired to be that. He's not even Like Belichick with the Mannings is really good. I watched the first half of the game last night on the Peyton Eli show. It's fine. He's good.
He's good.
He's critical. He says some things. He points out things. He's kind of his personality is sort of made for TV because he's kind of gruff and he's a little.
He's funny gruff.
Yeah, he's funny, and every once in a while he laughs and they pick on him and whatever. It's good, but Tom Brady's not that guy. Tom Brady's never been one of the guys.
He's not one of the guys.
Tom Brady was the guy that walked into the bar and took all your girls.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not one of the fellas.
Unless you need him to pay for everything, he's not the guy you want on the golf trip.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, Greg Olson comes across as one of the guys. He's telling you about the game. In many ways, that's why I think Romo, even though Romo does some goofy stuff,
he's all right.
Everybody generally likes Romo because he's kind of generally likable. Tom Brady's a legend. You need Tom Brady to be legendary. I think he can do that as an owner. He's not going to do that as a broadcaster.
The juxtaposition that is so obvious is actually him against Aikman, because Aikman is very critical, almost sometimes too much so, depending on one of the teams or whatever. And it's just, you watch it, it's kind of really stark. And you go, whoa, that's way different. So,
yeah.
Anyway. All right, a little more info in a second. First, podcast brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Ole Miss men's basketball hosting Illinois on Sunday, October 27th. That's this Sunday, Exhibition Sports Casa of North Mississippi. So stick around after the Ole Miss football game. Get your first look at the men's basketball team while helping a great cause. Also, season tickets still on sale for both basketball programs. Call the ticket office or visit OleMissSports.com. Baseball renewals are underway through October 31st. Still 9 days for that. And you can help open the new Ole Miss softball stadium with season tickets ranging from $100 to $150. 662-915-7159.
Brought to you by Grenada Home Center. They've got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paints, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else, window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive, Suite H in Grenada. You can also call them at 662-226-3127. Christmas about 2 months away. If you're thinking about your shopping for that special person in your life, you need to check out Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar in Oxford. They offer jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, basically everything you could want in jewelry. I mentioned gifts, super gifts for many occasions, birthdays, graduation, anniversary gifts, and, of course, the holidays coming up. Arnett's wants to be your jeweler. The College Corner is the place to stop this weekend if you're coming in for Oklahoma at Ole Miss. Maybe you're staying for basketball on Sunday morning. They've got the big location in the Oxford Commons right off of Sisk Avenue, more than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear, including a lot of the Real Tree gear. They've got that in stock now. They've got it online as well. collegecornerstore.com. Also plenty of parking available. They're going to have you in and out, ready for the Grove, ready for Vaught Hemingway in no time. We're also brought to you by our friends at Argent Wealth. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you this personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John if you are trying to plan a special trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories. No matter what you're thinking about, get in touch with him. Give him some parameters. Just give him a budget and let him give you some options. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net.
The men's clinic is in Madison and Brandon. I'm telling you guys, had blood work done last week, went down, saw them, had a conference call yesterday, and set up a plan that works for me. Not just things that are wrong right now, but preventative things that will probably pop up down the line, as their goal is to make sure that the patients remain as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process. They optimize everything from testosterone, improving sleep, reducing inflammation, treating insulin resistance, I'm doing with a little bit, and facilitating a healthy gut microbiome. You can find them in Madison at 601-607-7869. Really just themanthing.com. After the first visit, they can do a lot of things remote. You don't have to live there. So let them check you out if you're a man listening as you're aging and trying to be as healthy as possible. Again, the Men's Clinic, Madison and Brandon. That's themanthing.com. Oh, let's see. We've kind of gotten over close to halfway point of the NFL season without realizing it. I think because I'm so focused on college that sort of snuck up on me. And you don't know who's good. I mean, we're kind of having some of the same issues in the pros. We're having some odd results. There's a lot of parity. It's taking a little while to see people separate themselves right now, including the Ravens that won again last night. There's an argument they're the best they're the best team in the league. I know the Chiefs are 6-0.
TGI Fridays is claiming bankruptcy. I'm surprised they were still going.
When was the last time I had a TGI Fridays?
I mean, seriously, when was the last time you ate at a place like TGI Fridays or Applebee's or?
There are still Applebee's because I see the commercials, but that was my least favorite of any of those type chains.
Sorry for completely disrupting.
No, you're fine. I'm thinking now.
I was thinking to myself. I mean, they're joining a list there's some major big companies that are dying.
Like right now.
Yeah, I won't name them because I don't feel like getting sued. But
when'd you get sued?
I don't know if I'm wrong on one.
Oh, like not from a news. You're just hearing things.
Yeah, but like internet people that I kind of trust or who follow these things from a corporate business standpoint have been saying these things are coming.
I do have some notes. I'm reading from the stream for a second. So if you're on the podcast, you don't understand what I'm talking about. I do have some notes on baseball I'll post later today, but I really de-emphasize fall ball. You only are setting yourself up for failure in every direction because it's just not simulated in any way.
No.
It is spring training. And if you want to make a ton out of MLB spring training, feel free, but that's not where I'm at.
Well, I've yet to read fall ball reports from anywhere where the coach is like, yeah, it doesn't look good. We're going to suck.
Because if you're playing well, oh my God, that means everything, and you're going to be awesome in the spring. And if you're playing like crap, well, it's the fall. We're just working on some stuff.
Well, you're going against yourself, so you can't lose.
Well, they beat Sanford 11-3 on Saturday.
Okay.
They did.
Oh, good. They should.
They should.
I mean,
if you're going to beat Tennessee or Texas A&M, you better beat Sanford.
Sanford, I don't like their chance to get to Omaha.
No.
I mean, do it against Tennessee and LSU, and then we'll talk. Not saying they won't, but I'll wait till then.
It's fair. First TGI Fridays opened in 1965, Mr. McCready. So they had a long run.
Yeah, had a run.
That's a good run.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a failure of a business.
No. 60,
just because it goes bankrupt in 2024.
60 years, man.
Famous for its steaks, chicken wings, and burgers, colorful cocktails, and copious amounts of beer, it says.
Yeah.
I mean, worse things.
Oh, sure. I remember when it was like a treat to go there.
They had over 330 branches in 2021, now down to around 200. There was one in like Memphis or South Haven. You guys, is that still there? There was one around there somewhere.
I saw one somewhere in one of my travels this year, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I remember kind of liking TGI Fridays okay out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not Outback. Chili's is solid. I still don't mind Chili's if I just have to. I can find something.
Oh, no, I can make Chili's work.
Yeah. The location of the Little Caesars in Oxford closed. They're mentioning that in the stream.
Did it really?
Well, at least over there in the shopping center off Bramlett. I don't know if it opened somewhere else, but there's something else over there now.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm having a little bit of issue with University Avenue, period, right now because it's one lane both ways from Bramlett through the underpass.
I'm literally about to switch gyms because of it.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Snap.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if I'm going to go across town to work out, I'm going to go to a different gym than Snap.
I would assume it's really hurting that McDonald's right there.
You would think.
Because
here's a tip: if you don't live here and you're coming here for the weekend,
oh yeah,
don't. So a word of advice.
No, this is true.
If Anything you ever did that involved University Avenue took 10 minutes, it's now going to take 20. Just word to the wise.
Yeah, I've ruled it out unless I can just go. I don't want to go down University at all unless I'm stopping at the first stoplight only, not going past that. And anything else, I recommend trying to get from Bramlett back to South 18th to cut across. Don't go anything down University right now.
Laura leaves for work 20 minutes earlier than she used to.
Yeah, they're putting a roundabout in right there to try to help that godforsaken intersection between 7 and University. But I think it's an 18-month project.
It is.
So it's going to be a minute. Long minute.
A long minute.
Because I live the other way from Neal, and I'm contemplating to get to even Kroger, taking 6 and then exiting off on the Buddy East and going in that way instead.
Yeah, for sure.
To try to avoid University, period. So, Target is coming to Tupelo. Is that correct? We're all over the place.
I don't know. There's always been the rumor.
I used to like O'Charlie's when it was in Tupelo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was kind of an O'Charlie's stan.
Huh.
It's okay on that one. You a big Red Lobster guy back in the day?
No.
Cheddar biscuits?
No.
Fresh tuna?
Yeah, freshly thawed from Vietnam. Yeah. That's how fresh it is.
Off the boat this morning.
I like at walk-ons. If you walk into walk-ons, all the shrimp stuff, it says imported. You're like, no shit. I appreciate you telling. Yeah,
hey,
I appreciate you being honest about it. But yeah.
Oh, the O'Charlie's is still in Tupelo? Okay. Yeah, I liked it. I was in on that. It's fine. No issues. And I'm fine with any of the roadhouses and stuff. I can make those work.
Yeah. Oh, when the people do the snob thing on that, I'm like, shut up. I mean, sometimes if you're like on the road and you're by yourself and
there's 10 places that are completely fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'll forever tell you, if you're on the road by yourself on a Friday,
Outback.
You're just hungry and you don't feel like fighting a bunch. Outback is fine.
When we were in high school, that was one of the places that was kind of like one of the upscale ones we would do with like the dates and stuff. And you had like an hour and a half wait on a Friday night. It was a chore to get in Tupelo.
Yeah. Because it was effective.
Yeah.
It's
it was a chore 20. God.
I mean, if you walk into Outback expecting a 10, that's on you. If you walk into an Outback expecting a solid 7, you're going to walk away pretty pleased with the whole situation.
Yeah, Red Lobster does have endless shrimp. Get them all different kinds.
I bet. Ain't no telling.
I can get sick. Get some coconut shrimp. Get some shrimp scampi.
I do like a good coconut shrimp.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I love coconut, but not a big on coconut shrimp, man. It's weird. No, seriously, Triple Mass is right. I mean, if you were doing the dates in high school to Olive Garden and Outback, you had a good week with the cash. You had the summer job or something. That was that was the one where you're going, hey, I need to.
You're trying to impress her.
Yeah, there were scales here. We had we just got to get something to eat. There's a few really like fast casual places like Peppers or something like that we would do in Tupelo, and then you had like. Maybe up just a touch was like your Applebee's and stuff, which Applebee's being a touch above anything is saying something.
Sure.
But a touch up. And then, when you went up the next level, it was like Olive Garden and Outback.
There were expectations attached to that.
That was trying to show importance there at that point. Yeah.
You had an ulterior motive.
And you were trying to figure out how to fit the movie in. Are we going to the movie, then dinner, but make curfew? Or are you going really early?
There's a lot to think about. Got to have a plan.
Lifeguard money. I ran Park and Rec in high school. That's what I did. I umpired and did Park and Rec.
I picked peaches and umpired. You make good money umpiring.
You want the softball games because you get more of them. Yeah. They're shorter.
Yeah.
And they're easier to call, frankly.
But if you were willing to do like the Friday night baseball games, they'd pay you a little extra. And if you tell them you'd get up on Saturday to do the rain-out games,
I will hear no blasphemy to Danvers and Tupelo. It is still an establishment.
Really?
I love me some Danvers.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. You get like they got a good burger, and if you get it as a platter, you get the salad bar added with it. Oh, yeah. If you're going to lunch in Tupelo, Danvers still kicking.
This is entirely my fault. I will accept the blame on this one. He was about to talk NFL, and
I'm still talking. We're fine.
I brought up TGI Fridays. This is my fault.
We gave him
the
info
NBA
for the
part
week.
is his fault.
We gave them info for the week. Don't go down University Friday at 4 o'clock, for God's sake, when you get here for Oklahoma.
Or if you do, plan accordingly. That's the key thing. If you just got to go, plan accordingly. If it used to take you 10 minutes, it's going to take you at least 20.
So just be prepared.
If you think, hey, I've got 10 minutes, I always did this in 10 minutes, you're going to be really pissed off. And so we're trying to tell you, either avoid it or build more time into your plan. I'm trying to help.
And that's one.
I'm trying to help.
Because guys, it is going to be a nightmare around town this weekend.
I can't even imagine.
It is going to be worse than anything in the last 3 or 4 years, definitely.
I just can't even imagine.
Because OU, even though they suck, half the damn state's coming because it's the first time here.
Mm-hmm.
So just
they're coming to party because they know they're not. It's not even about football, so they're going to come party. I'm glad. I'll be honest. For a lot of reasons, I'm glad this game is early because it is going to disperse the crowd a little.
It will.
I mean, Oxford at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And if you're going to the stadium, don't go at 10:15 on Saturday morning. You're going to miss kickoff.
It's just not going to happen.
You're going to miss kickoff.
Build extra time into your day.
What time are you leaving?
I will probably do the go early and right basketball thing.
It's fair.
We have basketball today at 3. And unless he says something profound, then there is one thing I'm working on. I don't know that I'm going to write it Wednesday, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know they play Sunday, but it is an exhibition game.
It is an exhibition game.
I mean, I'm not going to treat it like, oh my God, it's the soup. No.
It's just cool. It's a good game.
It's cool. It's good. It's a gauge. But it doesn't count.
No.
You're going to be 0-0 at the end of the game.
Who are they actually open against?
Like Long Island.
Okay. What's their mascot?
The Islanders.
Okay. It could be.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. What I was going to say was if the playoffs started today, which they don't, but we are 7 games into the season at this point, so not far away from the halfway point. You've got Kansas City would have the 1 seed. They're still undefeated. They're 6-0, even though they look gettable, but no one has gotten them yet. You would have the Houston Texans hosting the Denver Broncos at 4-3 right now. I don't think that's going to last another 10 weeks, but
Sean Payton, man.
It's there, 4-3. Well, they got to play the Saints. That helps. 4-3 for the Broncos. Against the Texans, you have the Baltimore Ravens at 5-2. They would be hosting the Indianapolis Colts right now. The Colts, 4-3.
Wow.
Treading water. And then you would have the Buffalo Bills as the 4 seed and the winners of the East. They would be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers, Death Taxes, and Mike Tomlin, as the Steelers are 5-2 on the season after winning on Sunday night. Sorry.
Yeah.
5-2. Just keep rolling. Just chug-a-lugga.
If you're not a Mike Tomlin guy, I don't know what to tell you.
There is a large segment of that fan base that wants to fire him.
Well, they're idiots. And if you're Mike Tomlin, you just get up and go to work every day. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, if they fire you, you'll get another job that day.
I think Tua's coming back for the Dolphins this week, but they're 2-4. I know.
I hope not.
Save yourself.
I was listening. Who was it? It was Chase Daniel was talking about how he gets it on both sides. You know, you're wired to compete. If you've ever played, you know that you just want to play. And then he goes, and then I've been away from it enough now to be able to go, what are you doing?
Yeah. Don't.
Your family, that's tough.
It is.
Because Tua's good for the game. He's fun, smart guy. And when he's on, he's electric. But some of the visuals from his concussions are scary.
They are. The twitches and stuff.
Just scary. Yeah. And I don't know.
The Dolphins deserve to be bad with their ownership. Grind says the Dolphins didn't hire Mike Tomlin because they said he was too hip-hop. Well, congratulations.
Well, stupid.
Congratulations. You get to lose now. Good.
Because if the choice is, if they come to you and go, hey, you can hire Mike Tomlin. Okay, yes. Yes. Hire him.
It's hard to say Andy Reid's not the best coach in the NFL, but if so, Mike Tomlin's too.
Yeah, I'm fine either way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're whatever.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll take either one.
You can have Andy Reid or Mike Tomlin. Yes.
I don't care. You pick, and I'll take the other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm good. They both win. They both completely get the game. They both win. I don't care. Which one can get here first? I don't have a preference.
In the NFC, the Detroit Lions would have the bye. They're 5-1. They have,
He's done a really good job, Dan Campbell has. He
Done a great
really
job.
has. And Jared Goff is a great story.
they're fun. I like them.
I mean,
I really like watching them play. They lost Hutchinson. We'll see how that impacts them over time.
mhm.
But number one, today, the number 2 seed in the NFC, the Washington Commanders, led by Jaden Daniels.
Again,
He's got to stay healthy.
I just think some people win.
And
I
you
think
Jaden Daniels just wins.
I think he just wins.
They were very smart. He got a little banged up early in the game. And they went, nope, not going back in this clunker on Sunday.
Nope.
And they won 40-7. The Panthers suck.
No, they did the right thing. Get him out. And if he doesn't play this week, he doesn't play this week.
They would host the Chicago Bears today.
They've done a good job.
Bears 4-2. They have a tiebreaker over Philadelphia right now for the last playoff spot. Again, we're early. Seattle Seahawks would be the number 3 seed right now, 4-3.
They've done a really good job.
They would host the 5-2 Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Packers have done a good job. And then your NFC South division winner right now would be the Atlanta Falcons, who got popped by the Seahawks on Sunday.
They did.
They would be hosting the 5-1 Sam Darnold-led Minnesota Vikings today. So no Eagles, no Cowboys, no Bucks, no 49ers, no Rams.
A lot of season left, but
10 games.
yeah. Lions have more touchdowns in the last 4 games than Goff has incomplete passes.
That feels significant.
Wow, that's a big number. I'm taking Austin's.
That feels very significant. I like that.
No, triple mask. I'm taking his word for it.
Yeah, that's fine. No, Tampa's kind of fun. I like Tampa.
No, yeah,
I find myself enjoying watching Tampa play.
Yeah, I like Baker.
Yeah, I do too.
They're fun.
So.
That was I didn't stay up and watch the whole thing last night, but it was
good.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
I watched the first half. I went to bed at halftime. My Wara ring told me
time to go.
after Friday night. My Wara ring on Sunday morning told me I needed to prioritize sleep.
Did it really?
It did. My sleep numbers were not good.
It's like I think it's the Whoop one that if you really have like a bad week, it says something like you need to adjust your life goals or something. Like it's very passive aggressive. That's not that passive.
Yeah.
At some point when you really have a week.
Wara's like, did something happen?
Yeah.
Let me give you a list of things, and you're like, well, that, and that.
Yeah.
And this morning it was like, good for you.
Oh,
way to go. You're ready for the day. I was like, well, thank you.
Does that give you a little bit of jolt when they tell you nice job?
It's confirmation that I did the right
when
thing.
the computer tells you good luck.
Well, when you kind of begin to feel fatigued and you're like, why am I staying up for this?
Yeah,
Go to bed.
right.
And I went to bed. Like, it didn't matter to me who won the Monday Night Football game. I didn't have to watch the second half of that game.
No.
And so I didn't. And I didn't have to take my phone into the room with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't. And that way I got in the bed and I turned off the light and I gave myself a few minutes to fall asleep. And I did, and I slept more than 8 hours. And you wake up the next day and you feel better.
Suddenly you feel all right.
It's a conscious decision because you know, okay, well, Tuesday night's going to be a longer night. I know that on Thursday night, I'm going to stay up and watch an NBA game. I know that I've got to get up Saturday morning to go cover a game. So I know I've got stuff coming, so why not stock some sleep now? Yeah. Or bank sleep now is the word.
Sure. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, Spark offers both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more or register for service, that's nespark.com. NeSpark, connected. Stay local.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental has helped here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. We mentioned what he said, what he meant. That's up at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Andy Ludicky, myperfectfranchise.net. If you're a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands, an experienced entrepreneur simply looking to diversify, Andy can help. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. It's myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or 404-973-9901. I'll have a mailbag to you tomorrow that's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask him how. 612-805-5929 or email art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. We'll have picks to you on Thursday. They're presented by Kaiser Flooring. They've got locations in Oxford and Batesville. Kaiser Flooring provides outstanding quality flooring products and installation services to residential and commercial properties. They carry the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. Check them out at kaiserflooring.com. Call them at 662-830-3194 in Oxford or 662-371-1912 in Batesville. I mentioned Pete. Pete and I will be taping tonight. That's brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a full-service advertising team based in Jackson, providing financial planning and investment management to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Ryan Geary and his partners are a local team that utilize the strength and resources of a national firm to bring their clients an impeccable level of service. This includes access to investment strategies, portfolio managers not available to all investors. Learn more by calling them at 601-368-2215 or email ryan.geary@raymondjames.com. Raymond James & Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. They feed 10, 20, or 40 with their tailgate package options for you. Ole Miss in Oklahoma, so get those orders in today. Go right online. You can see all the options. You can pick out the charcuterie tray, which is one of my favorites. They got the pepper jellies. They got tons of different things available, desserts, crudité, sandwiches, whatever you want. They're at Johnson Hill Creamery. So again, johnsonhillcreamery.com. You can pick it up on Friday or Saturday. They're located inside Chicory Market, so they make it easy for you, whichever day you need to grab it with the 11 a.m. kickoff. Again, look at all the options. Just stop in and see what they have. That's inside Chicory Market, and that is johnsonhillcreamery.com. See where Aaron Judge has been awful in the playoffs in his career? I saw that this morning. Kind of a big legacy series for him in some ways, especially being a Yankee, because it's just the way it comes and is and whatever at that point.
For a World Series between two teams that I don't really care anything about, I'm kind of interested.
I was looking for it here. He's been a sub-200 hitter in the 2024 playoffs and has just a 761 OPS through 14 playoff series in his career.
Wow.
761. Now, Ohtani has a chance to make that decision quite good there. All the money and maybe a World Series title with the Dodgers. MVP. He's also been pretty awesome. He's hitting, he's got a 934 OPS over the playoffs.
Yeah, no, he's going to be the MVP. He's got a chance to be the playoffs MVP, the World Series MVP.
And he's not even pitching yet.
Hadn't pitched yet. And frankly, if I'm the Dodgers, I'm like, why are we doing this?
You don't pitch him?
God, really? He's so effective as a hitter.
But you're paying him.
Yeah, and he's about to win me a World Series. About to make it pay off right away.
They're going to win?
I'm not betting against them. Yankees have Garrett Cole. That's a
plus.
Big. Look, it's a great series. I'm fascinated. Yankee Stadium, Dodger Stadium, L.A., New York, Ohtani, Judge, etc. I mean, just everything. It's got everything you could want. I will be just fascinated to see the TV numbers. Because if baseball can't get juice off this, It just can't get juice.
Yeah, you got Dodgers, Yankees.
I mean, this is Celtics, Lakers.
And you're not tired of the Yankees. They haven't been since 2009.
No.
If anything, they've been quiet the last decade.
No, and they're likable. Superstars. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge.
Soto about to get paid.
Oh, God.
About to get so paid. Dude, just...
Grind says, I expect Ryan Brown to ask Neal for advice on how to deal with disgruntled Bama fans. Hey, man, I mean, you had a magical run. All good things come to an end. I mentioned my Matt Wilpers thing, when you're doing an interval. Because intervals have a beginning and an end. That's why they call them intervals.
That was deep.
It's true, though.
It is.
You're not just running forever. You're on an interval. It's 8 minutes.
It's what you like about the interval is you go just a little more, just 30 seconds at a time.
And when he goes, hey,
more.
3 more minutes. You're, okay. Not 10 more minutes, 3 more minutes.
The amount of bargaining in a long run where you go, well, I got that one done.
Yeah.
Got that one done. Got that one done.
Bama had a hell of an interval, but the interval has come to an end. And in a new era where, listen, I remember telling people.
It was already doing it last year, though, which is what no one's going to talk about.
I remember telling you a few years ago, I talked to a very prominent person in college football circles about NIL. And he said Alabama won't be able to compete the way that they've competed in a new era. Still be good. Still be a formidable opponent. They'll still have a very good team. They're not going to become a 5-7 team. But they're not going to own the sport. And you see that now. And Alabama with Kalen DeBoer is not the same as Alabama with Nick Saban. It's different. Welcome to the real world.
I was looking up your Matt Wilpitz, dude.
Wilpers.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, nice dude.
Yeah, I see him. I see him.
He's from Georgia.
Former Division I distance runner.
Mm-hmm.
His top 2 tracks on his current playlist are Killing Me Softly from the Fugees and Can't Deny It featuring Nate Dogg.
Oh. Yeah, he has a really eclectic musical mix. He'll throw some Eminem in there. I like that.
Okay. Well,
I do a 30-minute Coldplay run sometimes. It's a nice, soothing run. I'm not gonna go super fast. I'm not gonna speed up. Just a nice little recovery. I'm gonna get my 3 miles in. All good. 30 minutes, 3 miles, done.
Okay.
Do a little 5-minute cool down walk after that. If I don't have long to go, I can knock 30 minutes out real quick.
That's true. All right. We will have more at Rebel Grove. They'll have some sort of report today as the day has moved on. We looked at Jackson Arnold this morning and some more podcasts. Oh, I did a podcast with Howard Jordan. We talked about some of the helmet podcasts from the Galaxy debuting this weekend. And then we broke down his moose hunt in the Yukon that he just got back from 10-day, called it the most grueling physical hunt of his life. He had to just fly in on a little single prop plane into the Yukon and have no cell service for days chasing a moose.
Did he get the moose?
He did get the moose. Yeah. Day 9 of 10 days. That is correct. Had a grizzly bear try to get into their camp one day.
No.
They acted like that was just a normal thing that happened there. And I said, well, what happens? He goes, you try to get it before it gets you.
Did they kill the bear?
The bear came while they were out of camp. They were out hunting, and they had come back, and the bear had been trying to get into their premises. And he said, even when you're in tents, you could just run upon a grizzly bear.
That is not a fight you win.
Well, he has a gun.
Yeah.
Would you trust yourself to be able to get the shot off before the bear got to you?
Would I trust myself with my shooting skills?
Yeah.
I mean, no.
You would need a person.
Yeah, I would like to have someone who's really good with a gun next to me, please. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
You don't.
I don't. No,
Yeah. No, you do not. You don't outrun bears. That is not the answer.
No.
No.
No. No. You think even Usain Bolt could outrun a bear?
I don't think so. What? Was it on Rogan? Somebody was talking about like if you actually got attacked by a bear, what to do? Do you like? Don't you like go down into a ball or something? You're just like trying to protect vital organs and just like ball up. You don't even try to do anything.
These are nightmares that I don't have. Because I'm not, I mean, I like the outdoors and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But it was like when I was in Alaska and I was pretty sure that was a bear and I wasn't quite ready to start running yet. I told myself, you know what? This is a good time to get ready to run. So let's run.
Yeah, you play dead. So I thought you cover up things and you just play dead. I mean, you're not going to win the fight, so there's no reason to, and you can't run from him.
Well, it looked like the bear had about 50 yards of water to swim.
So you had a shot.
And so I said, you know what? My knee's better than I think it is. Let's go.
It was an otter.
I don't know what it was.
Okay.
I wasn't going to take the chance of saying, here, little otter, and then it's a big bear.
Well, it is a good point. There is no optimal strategy when dealing with a bear.
Get away.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why. Whatever. Anyway, that's up. MPW Digital and plenty more. So have a good day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.